In order to truly heal, we need to heal our inner child. Now, childhood is the most important part of a human being's life. This is where most of our programming is being done. This is where we form beliefs about ourselves and about the world. And so if you come from a childhood where you've had a lot of abuse and neglect, that's going to play a part in programming you and forming your beliefs. Now, a lot of us have these self-limiting beliefs from childhood, things like I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough. A lot of us were also raised by parents who also had their own unhealed childhood trauma as well. And so these things just get passed down the family line. So we all have an inner child, and it resides within us, and it will always be there. So what is an inner child? Think of it as a part of our mind that stores all of our emotional experiences from childhood. And so as an adult, it's like we have this little lens through which we view our current experiences. So that lens and our wounds contribute to the reactions in our relationships or the choices we make. This could be choices in our career or how we raise our kids. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 6 ways you can heal your inner child. This is extremely beneficial for you to do, and I'll explain why further into the video. But firstly, trauma doesn't have to come from a big event. A lot of people think trauma only comes from things like sexual abuse or physical abuse. And trauma isn't about the event at all. Trauma is the body's response to the event. So trauma can come from small things as well. You could be 3 or 4 years old and you could have been lost in a store. That is a form of trauma. You could be a 4-year-old that has an ice cream and you've dropped it on the ground and it's caused an emotional reaction out of you. That can be trauma. So trauma can come from smaller things as well. Now, awareness is key. I always talk about awareness in my videos because it's always the key, because you can't change anything you're not aware of. You have to become aware of these things so that you can then make the choice to either heal it or make a change. So awareness is also 90% of transformation. Simply by becoming aware of these things, you're 90% there with the transformation. You've only got like a little bit of work, 10% of work to do to have that transformation. Now, healing the inner child, it takes time and hard work. It's not easy. Think of it as a journey. Healing is a journey. So it's going to take time, it's going to take hard work. But when you do this work, you will transform your energy. So your energy, the energy you're embodying, the energy you're emitting, that is what's creating your reality. That's what is creating the experiences you're having. So when you do this work, when you revisit your childhood and you heal these parts of yourself, you heal your wounds, you've released them from the subconscious, you've released them from the body, you release them from your energy, and so your energy transforms. When your energy shifts and has a transformation, what you experience in your reality will shift also, because your energy is what's creating your reality. So this is why it's worth doing this work. So I've been doing this work for myself as well. This is how I know what it takes to heal the inner child. And healing is a forever thing. You're never going to be fully healed either. But the journey is worth it. I've been on the journey myself, and I have been able to release these things and notice a transformation in my own energy. And because my energy shifted, so has the outer reality. So it's really beneficial to do this work. I'm going to show you the 6 ways that we can heal our inner child. The first way is to become conscious of your inner child. So most people don't even realize that they have an inner child, what it is, that it resides within them. So just by becoming aware and acknowledging, oh, I have this inner child that needs some attention from me, is the first step. Become conscious of your inner child. Now, the second step is to use triggers as a guide. So what is a trigger? A trigger is disproportionate emotional reaction to something maybe smaller that happens in our current life. So I'll give you an example of one of my triggers. So I would get triggered very easily if, let's say, someone was supposed to be at my house at 1:30 and it's 1:35 or it's 1:40 and they haven't shown up, and I'm having this emotional reaction to it. Now, them not showing up on time isn't really where that emotional reaction is coming from. Where it was really coming from was my abandonment wound that I developed from childhood. So because I have this abandonment wound and then someone's not showing up on time, they're being late, it's triggering my abandonment wound, making me feel like that person's abandoning me. It could be something like you've texted someone and they're taking hours to reply, triggering that abandonment wound. So my abandonment wound was the underlying thing behind the trigger. So I had to take a look at that abandonment wound, heal the abandonment wound, which I did. I did that last year. I healed it. I've let it go. I've released it all. And my energy transformed because of it. But this is how we heal ourselves. We work with our triggers. So whenever you're having an emotional reaction to something, realize, okay, I'm being triggered right now. The trigger is a clue to what needs to be healed within you. So you ask yourself, why am I being triggered? What's behind this? And do some digging into yourself. So look at your triggers as your friends that are trying to help you. Number 3 is meditation and visualization. This is really powerful. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. So, for example, you may have a painful memory from childhood. Something bad happened, you were treated in an abusive way or were neglected, and you may have been upset or been crying. What you can do is you can go into a meditative state and visualize that experience in your mind, see it in your mind, and you can visualize your adult self being there with your inner child, the child version of you in that memory, and you can comfort your inner child. You can be there for them, you can hug them and comfort them and tell them things like, you didn't deserve that. So that can help heal from these memories. It's just simply using meditation and visualization. Visualization is extremely powerful. Another way you can use meditation is guided meditations. So for example, I did a guided meditation that was to connect with your inner child. So for those who don't know, a guided meditation is where someone else is guiding you through the meditation, and it's for a specific purpose. So the meditation I was doing was to connect with the inner child. And as I went into this guided meditation, a memory came up that I had forgot about, and attached to that memory was a limiting belief. And so what the memory was basically me and my brother were with my dad, and I was like the ignored middle child, right? And I remember my dad and my brother, we were walking through the school, going over the back fence to the dairy, and those two were ahead of me, and I was the younger one at the back, and it was like I was being forgotten about. So as I was climbing over the fence, I pretended to hurt myself to get some attention, like, hey, I'm back here. And so that memory came up. I forgot about it. It came up in the guided meditation, and then the self-limiting belief came up that was attached with that memory, and the self-limiting belief was, I don't matter. Because that's how I was treated in comparison to my siblings. So I formed that self-limiting belief that was running an autopilot in my subconscious mind and in my energy field, and I was unaware of it. So because I had this self-limiting belief, I don't matter, that's being reflected in my outer reality by having people in my life that treat me like I don't matter. So then I became aware, oh man, I've got this limiting belief. And then I changed the limiting belief by reprogramming into myself, I do matter, I do matter, I do matter. Repetition is key with reprogramming. So I just keep telling myself that every day until I believe it. So that's how you can use meditation and visualization to heal the inner child. Number 4 is talk to your inner child. You could have a photo of the child version of you, and you could talk to it that way. You could visualize an image of the child version of you and talk to it that way. You could write a letter to your inner child. There's different ways you can go about it. Or there may even be some things your inner child needs to hear from you. And so I'll give you some examples of these things. It could be things like, it's not your fault when other people are in bad moods. You are worthy of everything good. It's okay to feel. You are not alone. I am with you. You are a good person and I love you. You are worth protecting. What happened to you was not your fault. You are beautiful and loved. You have nothing to be ashamed of. So little Laura, she resides within me, and these are the sorts of things she needed to hear because of the way she was treated as a child by her own family. They didn't tell her these things, so I have to tell my inner child these things so my inner child knows, it wasn't my fault. So these are really powerful things to do for yourself, by the way. So number 5 is write a letter to your parents. Now, I did this course. It was a 3-week course. I think it was in 2021. And it was basically, to heal ourselves and to heal our wounds. And each day was a different topic. And we did one topic was like the mother wound, and a different day was the father wound. So we were told to write a letter to our parents. And this isn't for them to read. It's not to send to your parents. It's to get it out of your system and putting them on blast. Like, fuck you for this. Like, I'm serious. You'd be like, fuck you for this and fuck you for that and I deserve better. Like, you put them on blast and you let it out of your system. But then at the end of the letter, this is also an important part, is you have the second paragraph of, I forgive you because I know that you have your own unhealed childhood wounds. And I know you did the best you can, or the best you could, from your level of consciousness. So it's really important to acknowledge that and to have that forgiveness for your parent. Because remember, your parents raised you while they had their own unhealed childhood wounds. A lot of this shit is just passed down the family line. And so it's not really anyone's fault. It's just people don't know better. So you can put your parents on blast in a letter, but you don't send them the letter. You could also, this is another thing you could do, is you could also actually write a list of the good things your parents did do. There may have been a lot of shit, there may have been abuse and neglect, but what's something good that they actually did for you? So for example, I was like the ignored middle child. I was in the siblings' shadow, but every birthday and Christmas I was still spoiled by my parents. So it was like, okay, let's take a look at the good things they did and actually write a list, and then it will shape your view and perspective towards your parents as well. You realize, there was a few good things there that they did actually do for me, and realize your parents did their best from their level of consciousness. And the last one, number 6, is do childlike things. This is how you connect to your inner child. So just by doing childlike things, do the things you enjoyed doing as a kid. What did you enjoy doing as a kid? I enjoyed playing in the playground and playing on swings. I still do it to this day. I enjoy doing childlike things with my nieces and nephews. And it's really funny because if people were to describe me, one of the things they would say is, I'm a kid at heart. That's a comment I've always got, a kid at heart. And that's because I've always been very connected to my inner child. And even the comments I get from my nieces and nephews is, you're like a kid. That's what they say to me. You're like a kid. It's because I'm still very childlike. I can be an adult when I need to be, almost like a chameleon that, they change depending on their environment. So if I'm around kids, I can be childlike. And I think my nieces and nephews seem to think it's pretty cool that there's an adult around them that's like a kid. So that I tend to be a favorite with them. But it's because I still really enjoy doing childlike things. And, I just do the things I enjoyed as a kid. Keeps me connected to my inner child and my childhood. And it also helps keep me happy. There was so much fun stuff we did as kids. And then it's like we become these serious, boring adults. I'm not one of those because I still go to a playground and play. Like, I don't care. But you know what I mean? A lot of us are like taught to, we have to be more serious and not have as much fun. So connect to your inner child just by doing childlike things. Again, it's going to take time, it's hard work, but it's going to be worth it because you will transform your energy and you will experience a better reality once your energy has shifted because you've healed and released these things from your being. Hope you like this video, guys. Hope you got some sort of value out of it. Let me know by smashing that like button or write a comment. And also, I'm going to link a video at the end of this one that's called 20 Symptoms of Unresolved Childhood Trauma. So you can check that out to see if you're someone that has unresolved childhood trauma. And if you already clicked on this video, you most likely do. Subscribe if you like this sort of content. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified whenever I drop a video. Hope you have an awesome day. Peace.